to share with you today is a module from our Business Boost Academy. And what we're highlighting here is how sometimes customers, or certain customers, are just bad for business. So what do we mean by that? How can customers possibly be bad for business? We're going to show you why. So we've created a code. Now, this is going to be a huge step change in mindset. It's not arrogance, it's confidence. And we've got to realise in business that we don't need absolutely every single sale because some of them can be bad for business. It's about saying no. It's about saying no, this is what I'm worth. This is what my business is worth. This is what my product or service is worth. It's about saying no, this is the way I do business. It's about saying, hey, we're the best. The best is never the cheapest, nor should it be. Ferrari don't sell on price. They never have and they never will. Dacia sell on price. They always have and they always will. So you decide. Because if you make it about price, it will always be about price. And there's always an idiot cheaper. So let's have a look at what the code is. We've broken the customers down into 4 distinct types. We've got champion Charlies, and they are your very, very best customers, right? And we're going to look at why that is. And then we've got our ordinary Oscars. And most of your customers will fit in here. They're your average customers. I don't like using the bread and butter analogy because I think the ordinary Oscars are a little bit more than that. But they're your average customers. But it's up to you to make them above average. And then we've got a dangerous dance. And things are starting to go maybe not as well as you should or could be. And there's a few danger signs just to watch out for with your dangerous dance. And then we come to erratic earnings. When things are really going south at this particular point, there's a lot of hassle for no reward. Houston, we have a problem. So that's the 4 types of customer that most of us have in our business. And what I often get presented with is a kind of shock. Okay, I want to grow my business, and you're telling me to sack clients. You're telling me to get rid of clients. Are you nuts? But that's exactly what you need to do if you have erratic earnings. I'm going to show you why. Or you get them to play the game by your rules. Erratic earnings contribute nothing to your business, yet you spend, ironically, most of your time with them. Meanwhile, back at the Bat Cave, your competitors are targeting your champion Charlies and your ordinary Oscars and winning them quite successfully because you're asleep at the wheel. So let's now have a look at how we actually gauge these customers in these 4 brackets, because there's a distinct metric we use to measure them, and it's profit and time. Our 2 most valuable commodities as business owners, profit and time. Our champion Charlies give us good profits, great profits, in fact, but low time demands. So if you look at the gauges here, for the profit made, we're right over there on the right-hand side in the good. And from the time demand, we're right over there in the right-hand side with low time demands. It doesn't get any better than that. You're making good profits. These people, they're less hassle. They pay on time. They're probably nice people. And they're not sucking up a lot of your time, but putting plenty of money in the bank. You've got to look after your champions, right? Your champion Charlies are the ones that are referring your business, right? They are out there telling everybody how great your business is. You've got to look after them, because let me be brutally honest here. If you lose a champion Charlie, then that's an arse-kicking scenario because there's no excuse for it. Later in the module for Business Boost Academy, we cover perceived indifference. It's an absolute killer for a lot of business owners. So you've been warned, look after your champions. Then we move over to our ordinary Oscars. And ordinary Oscars are still good to deal with. Most of your customers will probably be in this kind of bracket. but you're working maybe just a little bit harder, and there's maybe a little bit more time demand and maybe slightly less profit than you would be with a champion. So if you look at the gauges now, we'll see we're still way above average profit, and we're still, you know, on the low average side for time demand. So everything's still okay there. There's no problems with Oscars. But what you want to do with your ordinary Oscar is work with them, right? Make them champion Charlies. Really look after Oscars, right? Because they are the potential to be your next champions, right? Ordinary Oscars are the lifeblood of most businesses. Treat them well, help them become champion Charlies. Then everybody wins. It's a win-win. So that's the C and the O of our code. Now let's move on to the D and the E. And things start to go not so well. So we now move into Dangerous Dan, right? And we're now starting to see below average profits and higher time demands. Look at the scales now. We're starting to go into close to the danger area. Below average profits, higher time demands, right? So your dangerous Dans are starting to suck up a lot of your time and not delivering great profits. More often than not, they're kind of awkward to work with. They're perhaps not the best payers. You're constantly chasing them. Not always, but it's usually the case. Most businesses have got dangerous Dans, but goodness me, you want to limit them because they're hard to please. Right. Now, remember in business, you get what you tolerate. So when you tolerate a certain kind of behavior in your team or your customer, then that's what you're going to get. Right. So when you start to see dangerous Dans, you want to maybe start positioning them a little bit better. Right. So things like when you're speaking to dangerous Dans, just reminding them that the price points may be lower than it should be, so you're going to have to review the prices. Or you've noticed the last couple of times that they've been dealing with your team that they've been a little bit abrupt, a little bit rude. Just remind them that kind of behaviour is not tolerated. You get what you tolerate. Or perhaps you might sort of point them in the direction of the fact that every time that they're getting a job and being invoiced, that they're late paying, perhaps, they're 30 days over or 60 days over, whatever it might be. Just remind them that your payment terms are strictly whatever that might be. So you reposition them and you're telling your danger Dans what the rules of your game are, not theirs. Some will give you the two fingers and go away, and that's good. Recommend them to a competitor. That's a fantastic strategy. Most of them, 75% of them will go, yeah, okay, yeah, got you. And they'll play the game by your rules and then graduate into becoming an ordinary Oscar. That's a win-win for everybody. Now let's look at the E. Let's look at our erratic earnings. And at this point, we've got real problems here because look at the scales now. We're basically making no profit. By the time you factor all the extra time and hassle that these people bring in, you're not making any profit. You're kidding yourself on. But the time demands are ridiculous, right? Your erratic earnings are a real danger to your business because they contribute nothing. They absolutely contribute nothing. They're not contributing any profit. Every time you deal with them, you come off the phone feeling, as if you've just done a round with Mike Tyson. But it's worse than that because they are preventing your business flourishing in other areas because you're spending so much time with them. You're not looking after your main Charlies, right? You're not looking after your champions. How crazy is that? You've got to remove erratic earnings from your business. You've got to, it's a step change. It's a change of mind. It's a change of mind shift, a mindset rather, right? But you've got to do it because they are contributing nothing. These people are negative. They're never going to leave a positive review. They'll leave an unjustified negative review. They're never going to recommend you. In fact, they'll probably badmouth you, and you've done nothing wrong, really. And you think that's acceptable to have a customer like that? Are you kidding me on? Right? Recommend them to your competitors because make no mistake about it. While you're too busy fighting with erratic earnings, your main competitors are going after your champion Charlies and your ordinary Oscars and winning them. So that is how we put our customers rather, into a code, right? Follow it. Make sure you're looking after your champions and do not fall into the trap of being sucked in to the world of erratic Hermes, because you'll never, ever please them. I hope that helps you. Let me know how you're going.